Hi guys, it's Mali and welcome to Let's Talk Personal Finance, the channel where we discuss how to make money and how to manage it. In today's video, I'll be taking you guys through my investment property financials. We are going to go through every single thing. But before we get into that, please remember that none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you're looking for financial advice, please speak to a certified or registered financial advisor. Okay, let's get into the video. I'll be sharing with you guys firstly how we financially evaluated all of the investment properties that we viewed and how that evaluation led us to making the decision that we made. I'll also take you guys through how we financed our investment property. The third thing that I'll be discussing is how much money we're actually making. So how much rental income we're making, whether or not we're making a profit at the moment or whether we're making a loss. So if you want to know more about that, stay tuned. And lastly, I'll also take you guys through our plan to pay off our investment property. So are we going to pay it over 20 years? Are we going to pay it over 10 years, over 5 years? If you're interested and you want to see all the maths, stay tuned. Okay guys, so as you can see in the spreadsheet, there are 9 properties that we compared. Most of these properties were actually new developments. So I think the only properties that weren't new developments are number 2, number 4, number 6, and number 9. So another key thing about all of these properties is that all of them except for number 4, yes, so all of them except for number 4 are 1-bedroom apartments. Number 4 was a 2-bedroom apartment. Another key thing with all of the properties is that they were quite small. They range from 39 square meters, which was the smallest one, to 63 square meters. So those are just general details about the similarities in the properties that we were looking for. Now, one of the first things that we were looking at when it came to financially evaluating the properties that we were interested in was the rates and taxes and the levies. So here in the spreadsheet, you see it says rates and levies. So we took the rates and taxes and we took the levies and we added it together to see what the total amount is. Now onto the next column. This was the asking price. The asking prices were between 610,000 rands and 910,000 rands if we round it off. So another metric that we used to compare the properties was to just calculate the price per square meter. The other thing that we calculated or added to our spreadsheet was the bond repayment. So how much we would have to pay back to the bank that helped us finance our investment property. So those are the values. They were all between 4,700 and 6,600. And I think we calculated this bond assuming a 10% deposit, because that was our initial plan, putting a 10% deposit. But I'll talk to you more about what we actually did when we start talking about how we financed our investment property. The other thing, which is crucial, absolutely crucial if you're looking for an investment property, is to find out how much rental income you can expect from your rental property. So we did this in different ways. So we asked the real estate agents that were helping us, that were showing us the property. Would ask them, okay, typically how much rental income do you think we can get for this property? Another thing that we did is, if we could and we had the opportunity, we asked tenants that were in that complex. So if we knew someone or if we saw someone who looked nice enough, we would approach them and say, hey, don't mean to bother you, but how much rent do you pay for the place that you're staying at, so that we have more than one perspective. Because I think sometimes real estate agents tell you what they think you want to hear, so we try to get information from other sources as well. For some of these properties, we were fortunate in that we knew people who had investment properties in those estates. So we consulted those people and asked them, okay, typically, like for your tenant right now, how much money are you getting for each tenant? And based on all of that information, we were able to come up with an estimate of how much rental income we expect to get from each property. Now, all of these values, all of these amounts helped us calculate our profit. And the formula for our profit was basically the rent minus the bond repayment bond minus the rates and taxes and levies. So that was the basic formula that you used. And if you see from our spreadsheet, our profit, we were going to make a loss, at least initially, for all properties. So the profit, I think it was the ultimate way of deciding which investment property is most viable financially or mathematically. Aside from the stuff that I was showing you guys in the spreadsheet, we also considered other factors when we were deciding on which investment property to get. So one of these factors is property appreciation. So to help us consider whether or not the investment property would appreciate in 5, 10, 15 years, we considered whether or not there were recent developments in the area. So I'm not 100% sure about this one, so don't quote me. But based on the conversations that we had with different real estate agents, they were saying stuff like it's better to invest in a property in an area that is booming versus in an area where there are no new property developments, in an area that is stagnant. Because typically in an area where they're not really building anything new, the prices or the values of property tend to stay the same. Now guys, please don't quote me on this. I'm not 100% sure if it's actually true. So that was one factor that we were considering. Another thing we were looking at that is crucial is the management of either the estate or the complex. So it's important to look at the body corporate. How are they maintaining the complex? How are they managing it? Because if you buy a property now and it's good, if the body corporate is not good at maintaining and repairing stuff when it breaks, in 10 years from now, the property might lose value. Now, the last thing that I'll mention in this video that we considered when we were choosing our investment property was how easy it would be for us to manage and maintain the investment property. So that's another reason why we were looking into new developments, because typically in a new development, the building is new, the finishings are new, the appliances, if it comes with appliances, are new. So since everything is pretty new, there's not a lot that we as landlords will have to do in terms of maintaining the property. Okay, so we're going to be talking about how we financed our investment property. If you guys are wondering which investment property we got, it is the first one that is in the spreadsheet. And we didn't actually buy our investment property at the price that is listed in the spreadsheet, because when we bought our property, it was around Black Friday, and the developer that was selling these apartments was having a Black Friday sale, so they discounted the price of the property by like 40,000 rands. So when we signed our OTP, we had to also pay a security deposit of about 20,000 rands on the exact same day. So we ended up getting 100% bond or 100% mortgage. Okay, so another thing is we bought our investment property directly from a developer, so there were no transfer costs. We did, however, have to pay an initiation fee. We got a 20-year repayment plan. So I think you guys will probably be most interested in this section, which has to do with the money. How much money are we making? So before I get into how much rental income we're actually making and whether or not we're making a loss, I want to first go through the expenses that we have currently for our investment property. So the first expense is the bond repayment. And our bond repayment, including the service fee, it's 7,300 rands. So that's how much we have to pay to the bank every single month. The other expenses that we have for the property are the levies and the rates and taxes. And I've combined both of these expenses into one. And for the property that we chose, our levies, rates, and taxes amount to 1,800 rands. So that means, all in all, every single month we have expenses amounting to 9,100 rands. So currently our rental income is 7,000 rands, which is 2,100 rands less than our monthly expenses. Now, based on the maths, you can see that our investment property or investment property business is actually clear cash flow negative. Okay guys, I think I will have to cut this video here. It's far too long. There were other things that I wanted to discuss, mainly how we plan on paying down our investment property, but I think I'll have to make a separate video for that. So guys, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave comments or any questions that you have in the comment section below. And remember, guys, you're never too old or too young to talk about personal finance. Toodles!